Said my video glass.
That's on this one. Like, look here, bro. Hey, y'all, look. This is Verbal Pick Radio, right? I told y'all we give y'all a verbal image of life, right? Now, Houston is a big city, right? And so, whatever part of the town you grew up on, you had your experience and you saw the players in the game as concerning hip hop and this evolution. And we talk about going back to the 80s. I'm talking about Gregor Park, Dara Scott, Steve Fournier and whatnot, right? But Houston is a big city, right? So I want to introduce you to someone who I had the experience of meeting Shaq with, meeting Pac, you know what I mean? Kilo G, Kid and Play. I mean, just traveling, you know, with this guy, man. Doing the show, Sandwich and Coliseum, man. None other than my partner, Rashad. What's up, man?
What's up, P-Cole?
Hey, bro, man.
Listen.
It's been a journey, fam.
It's still going.
It's still going. It don't stop yet.
It don't stop.
Man, you'll see him at 50-15, man, putting it down. He's still producing, but you know, as we get started though, can you give us a little background history about Rashad, A.K.A. the Houston, the legend in the building, man?
I'm gonna say this, man. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and back in '81, first time I came to Houston, like Houston had a boom.
Right.
And you know, my mom, she worked in a certain industry, took her little severance check. My older brother was already here. He was going to Texas Southern. He calls up like, Mom, there's money in H-Town. You might want to come down here and check it out. I'm going to high school, right? And I'm up there with my grandmother and then my mom shoot down. I still remember the date. It was June 12th, 1981. Like, I remember that date well because I was walking down the street and I just heard somebody calling my name. Like, I'm in the summer. This is me, my grandmother, big house.
Right.
Yeah, next thing you know, I hear somebody shouting my name. It sound like Mom. Yeah, I looked up. Said, we got your stuff packed. Come on. Like, I just got in the car and we was out. I was like,
like that.
Like that, real quick. So when I got here and we talking about hip hop, like Houston again was booming. A lot of people, early 80s, came from the East Coast and the Midwest. A lot of industries were shutting down, so you had this influx of all these different cultures. And I happened to be from the East, and hip hop was just booming. Houston had Love 94.
Right.
They had Magic 102.
Right.
And quiet as kept, the Godfather of LA, one of the Godfathers of LA hip hop, guy named Greg Mack.
Right.
He was in Houston first.
Oh, come
on. A lot of people don't know that.
I don't know that.
And if you listen to like the Eazy-E record, Radio, at the end, he's like, yeah, this is Greg Mack, the Mac Attack guy. He was in H-Town first, and maybe shortly after I got here, he left. But there was a station called Love 94, and y'all wasn't playing no hip-hop, man. H-Town was like, it was slow, y'all wasn't getting music. Wasn't no such thing as the internet, people. So we was mailing tapes and all that. But Houston, it was like, dang, but Love 94 used to play one record. One hip hop record, and it didn't rap. It was the Great Adventures of Grandmaster Flash on the way. And I used to turn it to that station just to listen to that. One day we was riding down I-10, pulling up on 610, just past Silver. I'll never forget. I used to be like, Mom, put it on that station. And as soon as we got to that station, man, it was playing a song. Next thing you know, it was over with. The station was off the air. And I'm like, oh, snap. Yeah, so I met people from New York and from Chicago. Like I said, it was a surge of people that knew where hip hop was. It wasn't even in Houston like that yet.
Right.
Houston was Morris Day in the time. Like Houston was music, Prince, but all of that, man. It was jamming now, but it was just
one way and right.
All of that, cutie pie. One way. Houston was that in the early '80s, but there was a group of people. And I would like to say myself included in that foundational hip hop push.
Right. Yeah.
Me, there was a guy named Chris Gant, Masters of the Mix.
Yeah, K1K.
Yeah, they had Masters of the Mix.
Yeah.
That was a guy named Marcus Girodi. He was from Queens. They used to call him Money G.
Okay.
Cultural impact type of guy down here.
Right.
There was Otis. There was Money. There was all these guys was Masters of the Mix, and then you had guys like the Lonnie Macs and all them guys that came from Chicago. The Casanova,
Casanova.
Easy C and
Right.
who I was in that group. Let me test I'm old, y'all. We getting old out here. It was Easy C, Lonnie Mac, Scorpio.
Right.
What was my man's name? I can't even think of what his name. Wayne Tootay. That was his real name. I can't even think of his. Tommy J. Like it was all these guys, man. So there was groups of people who was familiar with the culture, and we came down here and started doing things, having parties and this that, and we was looking like aliens because H-Town had Jerry curls and it was wild, man. But yeah,
back in the day,
yeah, we talking early '80s.
Look, bro, I remember going to parties, man, with you and Luscious Ice, and on different sides of the city. A part in the Kempwood Village in Spring Branch. You know what I mean? Oh, bro,
Man.
used to go down.
So what happened was back in the day, people. Everybody lived in apartments. Like Houston was brand new.
Right.
Houston was big, so we would rent the clubhouses, charge $2-3. Be 100 people in there though, 300-400 back in the day. That was some real change. Like, and you still in high school,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just mentioned Luscious Ice. That was one of the first people I met in Houston.
Right.
He lived across the street from me. We was in between Antoine and Silver, right off of Westview.
Okay.
He lived in a spot called Afton Village. I lived in Brookhurst.
Oh, come on.
So
Afton Village used to go down too, bro.
The game room was across the street.
Yeah.
So Ice, we all went to Spring Branch School. Ice was an HISD cat. He went to Wall Trip.
Okay.
Ice used to run track. He was state ranked. He played baseball.
Okay.
So he was like, he went to Wall Trip like everybody else in the hood, Spring Branch, Memorial, So he was like that because that was my partner though. But Ice, I ain't gonna, should I snitch on him? Ice used to have his curl when he ran. We stopped at cars.
Right.
And where I'm from, when people looking in the car, they about to steal it. I used to look at Ice. He used to stop. He'd look in the car. Ice was the first one in the hood with some Nike Legends. They became Air Force Ones. I remember that too. But he would look in the car. I'm like, is this thing about to steal a car? He get the. We get that activated.
He now wet it up.
But the first hip hop club, man, in Houston, just hip hop. Shout out to Ray Barnett. It was called the Baby Grand. And it was in Spring Branch, man. Baby Grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one.
I'm no wonder. Okay,
that was the first one. So all the cats in Spring Branch, there was cats that was like I said, down with guy Chris Gant. And next thing you know, you on the radio mixing. Next thing you know, you get these guys out of the North Side named Lester Pace and Walter D and Marcus Love and Tammy McCall. Rest in peace to Deetra Ward because she put together something called Kids. Yeah.
Right, KTS, right.
And that was the only hip hop you heard on the radio. Right. It was 2 hours every Saturday. 10 a.m. 2 o'clock, and the original iPod Kids was a pause button and a play and a record button. And you had on that radio, you start recording. You was making cassettes, but I was getting music from back up north too.
Right.
So I was one of the early first DJs out here that was really getting it in. Like I said,
I remember, man. I remember in the clubhouse, man. You were like y'all scratching with Adidas, bro, on the turntable. You know what I mean?
Hey, man. We was doing it, man.
Been doing it, right?
Hey, man, listen, 1,200 quarters on and then nickels and pennies on the knee. He holding it down, man. Influence-wise, my first influences was like Grandmaster Flash. Like, I went to the first hip-hop concert that we had in my hometown, and it was on a school night. And I had got transferred from a public school to this little private Catholic school. It was in the hood too.
Right.
I didn't know this was a school. It looked like a big giant church.
Right.
It was a Catholic school. I never knew it was a school, but I was in school at the same time they was.
Right.
When I got shipped there, I was the new kid from the public school. I was in the 7th grade.
Right.
And I had a paper route.
Right.
Throw papers in the morning, man. You know, wrap them up, walk my dog, and then go to school, which was less than a quarter mile from my house. And I still remember these blue turntables that every school had. The teacher played the record and she clicked the button when they was called Caliphone turntables. I get switched to the school, and with my paper route money, I was buying sneakers and records. Because in my house, my mother had her records, stepdad had his records, and neither by you couldn't touch that. And you wanted to play some music, you had to get your own. So I was buying records. And the teacher was like, well, we're having a dance, and anybody, and we had just seen Sugar Hill, Grandmaster Flash, Funky 4+1, and they was out on the curb talking to us after the show. Right. It wasn't no stardom, it was just like, this is the new thing, this is rap. And when I seen Flash, I was like, I'm going to do that. I buy records. And then the teacher was like, anybody, you know, they used to do a collective people. I was like, hold up, I got all the music. Because I didn't want to dance in front of a chaperone. Even I'm shy, you know. I'm a new kid, but I got the music.
That's right.
So after we seen Flash, we was like, okay. We had these Caliphone turntables, and the platter was as big as a 45. If you don't know what a 45 is, do your research. But so albums was bigger, so we couldn't scratch because it bounced. But we had a mixing board in our school, and we figured out a way to hook the one turntable into the mixer. Now, I'm 5'6" feet away. I got the turntables, I got the songs. Usually back in the day when you played a record, you had to take the record off, put it on, and then the next. It'd be a space. We in the 7th grade. We the first in the city. We seen that kind. So I got 2 of them. We took 2 of the turntables from 2 different classrooms. Plugged them up into the mixing board. Because like I said, they had plays. Now, there wasn't no scratching going on, but it was like when it get toward the end of the record, my boy Von Debo, rest in peace, he'd be over there. I'd be like, yeah, go. And he would fade one in and fade one out. But we never stopped the music. And that was the beginning of my DJ career. Man, we was innovative. Shout out to Grandmaster Flash for the influence.
But still, though, bro, it just goes to show you the power of the mind, man, at an early age. You know what I mean? When you think it, you can do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that goes out to a lot of youngsters out there. You got dreams and you got goals, bro. Dive in and go for it, bro. Because your mind gonna create what you need as you go along.
I tell them like this: your mind is like a parachute. It don't work unless it's open, though. So open up your mind to some new stuff. But yeah, so we figured out how to do the 2 turntables. He 5 feet away from me. We just stretch. He up and down like the whole night. But we got a reputation.
Right.
Now my paper route money with the Radio Shack. I got that little Radio Shack mixer. You know what I'm saying? We had some B1s. They wasn't even direct drive, so you had to cut cardboard to make a slip mat. Then we got hip. We went to the store that sold all the materials, and then we got some felt. And then we said, so now we making slip, we spinning, because you had a belt drive turntable, trust me, you wasn't doing no back spinning. So we figured all that out. We figured it all out, man. And now you getting the hip hop movies, and so we doing all of this. Then I got uprooted and came to H-Town where there was no hip hop, but I had that skill set.
That's right.
I had that, and by then, I met Ice. Guy named Alan Jackson. We used to call him Reckless Al. You remember Reckless? Well, you don't remember? You was over at Haverstock acting a fool. Don't nobody know about that. But nah, me, Al, Ice, my boy Ali. Later on, Silo.
Remember boy Ali?
Ali, we still. His son about to go pro boxing. His son been #1 in the country a few times. Shout out to Kefra Salam. But me, him, and Silo. You want me to just give it to you?
Yeah, come on, man.
We became a group.
It's the foundation.
Silo was a Puerto Rican cat from Philly.
Okay.
His brother, I won't name. Right. But and then it was me and my boy Ali. We had played on the same football team together. Now we decided to get a crew. We was called the Chosen Few back in the day. So you had Lonnie Mack and them. You had us. You had a few crews out here, and we was throwing these parties. But my boy's older brother, let's just say he was outside a little bit, and my older brother, of corporate cat. He had this theater he was running called the Masiba. It was on the corner of Main and is it Cleburne? It used to be a theater right there on the corner, catty corner from where Sears used to be downtown.
It's Fiesta
Now, it used to be. My brother had access to the theater. You know, Carl Lewis used to practice in there. He had a singing group.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he was singing
Yeah.
after that national anthem. Yeah, I said that, Carl. I'm just messing with you. But one of the girls from In Vogue was one of his background singers, Terry Ellis.
Oh, come on.
I used to see. Yeah, she went to PV. Anyway, we had our little group, and we came up with this idea. Hey, let's do a concert. Like I said, my boy Salo, his older brother, just was doing this thing. Rest in peace, Macho Camacho,
Come on.
the boxer. You know,
Yeah.
Let's just say they was getting money together, right?
on.
And we was like, yo, let's do this concert, and we moved it up now to about 85. And who was hot? There was this new guy that was a rapper from New York. He had a hot single out called Eric B. is President. His name's Rakim. Shout out to Rock. We still cool to this day.
Come on.
Every time he come to Houston, I bring him for the most part. Then we got this other group from Miami. They was wild. They was called the 2 Live Crew.
Right.
So we gonna bring 2 Live, and we gonna bring Eric B. and Rakim, and we got the theater. Pete and them threw up the money. Hold on. Let me rewind. Let me go back to 83, our first concert.
All right, come on.
First show we ever did. When you old, you gotta remember. There was a spot behind Jack Yates High School called JB's Entertainment Center.
Right.
Right now, if you go down Scott Street, there's a Shipley's Donuts, a Subway, a wing spot, whatever. That used to be JB's Entertainment Center. I'm so sorry.
Right.
So we on the tail end of high school, and we was like, yo, let's bring this concert down. Pete, my boy Pete, I said Pete's name. Salo's brother,
right,
you know,
right.
the same guy. It don't even matter.
Right.
He's with everybody doing something different.
Yeah,
now.
it's a new day. Right.
But we did Run DMC and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was the first show we ever did. We still in high school. This is before Masiba. This is at JB's Entertainment Center. By Run DMC, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We still got the contracts. I still got the paperwork on that show. Norby Walters, that was their agent and all that. That show was 10 grand plus flights.
Wow.
When I say 10 grand, 7 for 2 shows. We had an early and a late show. That's how they used to do it back in the day. Run DMC and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Run DMC got $7,500 for 2 shows. Jekyll and Hyde got $2,500 for 2 shows total. Early and a late. We had them staying. There was a Comfort Inn off of Fondren and Westheimer back in the day.
Right.
I still remember all of this. My fault. We were still in high school, so we did Run DMC, Jekyll and Hyde, and I was running his first show outside of the tri-state area. Like I said, we still got the paperwork on it.
No, y'all brought them down here.
Yeah, we brought them down.
Right.
So we high school famous, because they were brand new.
Right.
Nobody knew this thing. Later on, we did the Eric B. and Rakim stuff and all that. So we was bringing shows in high school. And, you know, the crazy thing about that the Eric B. and Rakim show and 2 Live Crew, there was a hotel right there on Main, right where the underpass is. Main, it's not Cleburne. It's not Cleburne. It's one over from Blodgett. Whatever Richmond Avenue turns into. Okay. Richmond turns into Blodgett, I believe, when it crosses Main. There was a theater right there. And then there was a hotel right there, too. Okay. So they was in a hotel less than 100 yards away from the venue. And 2 Live didn't show up. They start promoting the record. And so we young. My brother and them decided they're going to sue 2 Live Crew.
Right.
And it took a few years. Shout out to Luke. Luke is a crafty dude. My brother and them's lawyer. He was a little Jewish dude.
Right.
But look, we ain't know who he's like an entertainment lawyer. He was gay. Let me tell you what Luke did. Luke did his research. Luke got another gay dude to represent him. They get together and work for Luke. Both. Luke cold-blooded. Hey, man. And then here go the wild shit. They worked it out. It was a $300,000 settlement, plus 2 Live had to do like 4 or 5 shows. Watch this. Remember the YBPC?
Yeah.
So you was just talking about.
You talking about the YBPC.
So there was these cats called the Gents. They was like, yo, let us get backstage. Let us in. We let them backstage. They sing for Luke. Luke signs them. They become the group called H-Town. All that happened at that show that night. Shout out to Stick, all them guys. But all that happened that night. Like it's some wild chain of events that I've been a part of, but
that leads up to
yeah, man, them boys were singing backstage for Luke, and next thing you know, they was in Miami with a $1 million. I don't know what the contract was, but it was a fair deal.
Okay.
It was boys came back with NSXs and hey man, big houses. It wasn't a bad deal to Luke gave them boys. I don't know how they fell out. That ain't my business. But I know coming into the game, you don't get a record deal like that.
Yeah, shout out to Bishop, man, and Frank Burrell.
Oh yeah,
they worked on
exactly.
that.
So yeah, I mean, and after when Luke and them had to settle that thing, it was a few years later, and that's when that YBPC thing happened. But man, there was after parties and that. We got some money out of the deal.
Right. Come
Definitely made some paper.
Yeah, and the YBPC was a young black
programmers coalition. Yeah, coalition. It was a radio function.
Okay.
It
was rivaling Jack the Rapper too, right?
Jack the Rapper, the Gavin. It was huge.
That
was still
man. The Hyatt Regency, bro, hotel. Oh, bro, that's, like I said, this how I met Park, bro. Dude, for some reason, he ran the Money B, bro. Money B knew him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, let's go up and meet Pop. We shot up and meet Pop. Then Money B was like, well, man, when we gonna get some 40s or whatnot, right? You know what I mean? Crazy. We come back with the 40s, man, and Pac had Juice was doing Money B was like, nah, Juice doing a premiere. I think it was in Michigan or Detroit or something. They put Pac on the plane. He flew back to Michigan, but he was in a room by himself in the dark smoking weed, bro.
Chilling.
Opening the door.
Shout out to Pac, man.
Yeah. This boy got pictures with Pac, man.
Yeah, he was a real one. He was a real one. By then I was getting ready to move to LA and back and all that. But yeah, the hip hop scene in Houston, man, it took off in a major way. Like, people love to say when 3 Stacks, the South got something to say. That's when the South took off before that. If you listen to 3 Stacks interview in the barbershop, one of his biggest influences was Odd Squad.
Come on.
That's Devin and all them guys.
Yeah, right.
And when you talk about Odd Squad, you got to talk about Carlos Garza.
Okay.
And when you talk about Carlos Garza, you got to talk about Soundwaves Records.
Yeah, Soundwaves, yeah.
And Soundwaves was a mom and pops. If you knew who Marvin Zindler was, his son Dan Zindler owned Soundwaves.
We didn't know.
You ain't know?
We didn't know.
That's
Marvin Zindler did show a lot of love, man, in the neighborhood, though.
You know how Marvin Zindler got famous?
Credit with Suits, right?
No. Remember that movie, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas?
Yeah.
It was a true story. Marvin Zindler was the guy that exposed it. And then became a Jonathan Winters played his character in that movie. Then it became a cult classic. But yeah, Dolly Parton was in it. Right. But Marvin Zindler he became a consumer reporter. Long story short, his son owned these record stores called Soundwaves. Carlos worked at a Soundwaves, and Waxmaster C worked at Soundwaves with him, A.K.A. DJ Premier. Yeah, Chris got you on that one. Premier worked at that Soundwaves. Now, here go the thing. You used to have to write in and send what was... It wasn't no digital. To write in. Carlos is a Billboard reporter, too. So he used to... Whatever was popping in Houston, he would get all the Soundwaves data and send it out. The guy from Wild Pitch calls Carlos like, hey, man, I got a rapper. I need... You got anybody to do beats? I don't know if Carlos remembers this, but Carlos called a few of us. There was DJing. I dumbass, man, fuck them beats, nigga. Ain't doing production. And Premier was working with him. They worked. He was like, yo, man, this guy. And from what I understand, Gangstar's first album, Step in the Ring, they did that over the phone. Like, he let him hear beats, and then he flew to New York, and then now we got Gangstar. So shout that out. Carlos was in the group Odd Squad that 3 Stacks admired and was a big influence. Yeah, so for all you out there that think it happened at that Source Awards, no. Shout out to Outkast. But, independent labels was going on down south. Shout out to Rap-A-Lot. They was, I remember Car Freak Drop. There's been several sets of Ghetto Boys. The original one was Jukebox, K9, and Raheem, I think. Was Raheem on it? And Bushwick.
Underground Juggling, right?
And Bushwick Bill. Yeah. I think Bushwick Bill is probably the only Ghetto Boy on every Ghetto Boy album cover. Because Bushwick wasn't rapping on the first, but he was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Ready Red came.
And then Ready Red, hold on.
Okay.
We took Ready Red to the studio, Rap-A-Lot studio first. Ready Red was out on A-Leaf. And again, we on some hip hop shit. He had a black leather jacket. It was an airbrush, and they had a guy with like these lightning bolts coming from some turntables, and it was just hip hop. You know what I mean? Which still was strange.
Style, right?
Yeah. So we went, and it was hot in the business. He had on a black leather jacket, walking down the street, and he had the SP12 in a bag. And we seen him. We pulled up at the gas station. It was like, yo, see the back of your jacket? We on some just hip hop camaraderie. It's DJ Ready Red, and it was like, DJ, yeah, where you from, man? Trenton, man. You from Jersey, right? He's like, y'all know what Rap-A-Lot is? And he about to get on a bus. We was like, hell yeah. You know, they had a spot, a little car lot with a studio up off Shepherd or whatever, and we just dropped him off. I don't know what happened. Next thing you know, Ghetto Boys is popping, and they, you get the Scarface samples. And yeah, so Ready Red was probably in the second, third. They had Prince Johnny C.
Yeah.
All these guys, man. But, Rap-A-Lot, there was a such thing as the Ghetto Boys before there was a such thing as NWA.
Right, yeah, Ghetto Boys before NWA.
This is a fact. So, but not to take away from NWA, because I ended up...
This hit, but we
Cube ended up looking out for me back in the day. Easy, I know all them guys. But... that shifted to Cali, but Houston hip hop, man, rich history. Yeah. Shout out to Jazzy Red too. I forgot to mention him. He was on the Kids Jam crew, but I would bet the farm Jazzy Red was the first Houston rapper with a record pressed up, like on wax.
On wax, right.
He was the first one. Right. I forgot the song, Jazzy, forgive me, but he was the first one to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, Houston
had it from. What's B2 Omega?
Born Twice. I can't forget Born Twice. He ended up coming to Cali.
And then when his brother, or his
Royal Flush.
Yeah.
Shout out to Royal Flush. Shout out Casanova. It became the Def 4. Raheem. Like Houston had a history, man. Yeah. And what was crazy, when you was on the West Coast, to get to the East Coast, and when you was on the East Coast, pretty much to get to the West Coast, Houston was in the middle. If you took off in Houston, you crossed the country. And that's just what it was. Like, you can't deny that. Like, the E40s of the world, the Too Shorts, all that. When they hit H-Town, it took off. Yeah, the Master P's of the world. Shout out to Suave House, Tone Draper and all that. Houston got it now because Suave House pretty much put Memphis on the map. Right. And everybody, Tony Draper from Memphis. Nah, Tony Draper from Mo City, man. Willow Ridge cat.
All right, okay.
Tone Draper, Olive Garden. I ain't gonna say nothing about that, Tone, but Tone Draper had enough sense to go get somebody from out. So he put the Ball and G, Tila, all them. Shout out to Mr. Mike, Corpus Christi. But Houston was the midpoint, and it blew up in the early 80s, and it was like one of them things. Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
Steve Fournier used to have a record pool.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Right.
And Steve Fournier was the first cat out here screaming on the air and da-da-da. And Jack, Captain Jack and them. Y'all ain't want us in the club. You had to have a suit to get Jack in the club. Fournier was the first one that took to the street with it.
Yeah.
And so, we got that. Hey man, it was just so much, man.
It was wild back then, right?
He had a record pool.
Okay.
And selling, record blowing. Yeah. Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin was like, man, how you doing all this, man? They flew him to New York, low key, and they got the formula. They got his formula on how he was moved. So Houston was real instrumental in the game, man. And I'm just here to tell it like it is.
Yeah, well, because I'm saying because Houston, we didn't have a choice but to be independent. We had to get it out the mud. We had to create our own lane. Because at one time
New York wasn't giving it up. New York was the only place for it.
They would only play New York East Coast music, but they would not do. They wouldn't. They call it Bama or whatever.
Country. But what they didn't realize, there was a lot of us down here too.
Right.
We just couldn't get out. But yeah, shout out to Jay, man. Little Jay did that.
First time I met Jay. And we go. Coming out of Gucci's, bruh. We going in the Gucci's.
Shout out to Ray Barnett. Rest in peace.
Jay Prince coming out, he seen you and Ice, and he was like, how many with y'all? He was like 3. He said, let him in.
Yeah.
That was the first time I just walked in the club, bro.
Hey, man.
You know what I mean?
If you know the magic of Jay Prince, man, it ain't. This shit before music. I remember Jay had a car lot. He found the cars, man. I remember we was leaving Gucci's one time.
Right.
I was in a Mazda something or other. I forgot what it was called. And Jay looked over at me. He had something. It wasn't like, it was just something regular. He was low key.
Right.
But what was under that hood was not regular.
Right.
Like, it just looked like, might have been Empire. I don't know what it was, but I remember, and Jay might not remember. I remember this shit like yesterday, because I was talking to this girl, and he said something about her, and I was like, oh, for real? I'm going to leave that alone. But we get out, we both on the street. He looked at the light. He did like, he looked at his head and rolled out. Jay don't talk a lot. He can signal some shit with his hand. So I'm like, all right. Roll down the window. What you got up under there? I don't know. It might have been a 626. Let me turn my phone off. I'm sorry.
Nah, man. My people, man.
Hold on, man. Let me turn this. I'm sorry, people.
Yeah, this live. We live.
Yeah, we live.
My phone been going off. A movie just dropped the other day, too, man. Accountability just went on streaming platform. Check it out on Fox and keep rolling.
Look, it might have been a Mazda 626 something.
Right.
And he did like that. And I was like, oh, that's Jay. Jay was giving out jobs too. Jay made sure
you gonna eat.
Yeah, So he rolled the window. I looked at him like, "What's up?" Because I'm cool. And this ain't my first time. You see Jay everywhere. He's like, "What you got up under there?" I said, 6. I don't know. They some car guy. I never been a car dude. I always had something cool, but I ain't never been. He said, "Light turn green. Let's do one." And I said, light turned green. Boom, I took off. You know what I'm saying? We going down, what was that, Little York? Whatever street Gucci's we going. Popeyes on the left. I'm back. I'm like, oh yeah, I got him. And it was about, he back. I don't know what he was doing, but whatever he did, them lights got bigger in my mirror. And I was like,
it was gone.
And then 2 lights down, he was just stopped and waiting. He said, yeah, man, I'm just, you ain't got nothing up under that. Just, what's under here. And he, whatever engine was, yeah, man, you got to get your car game up. And made a right and just, I said, what? You got to get your car game. Right. Jay going to talk smooth, slow, and make sure you understand everyone.
Exactly what he's saying, bro.
And he hit me with the point. He hit me with this. And just made that right. I was like, I don't know, whatever spaceship engine was in that car, because I had it, man. Next thing you know, I heard like, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you this. So by you coming from the East Coast, coming to Houston, how would you describe Houston as far as the different, you got your A-League, you got the South Part, you got the Third Ward, you got the Fifth Ward, you got your North Side. Is it different flavors in each side of town? Because you the DJ then. Yeah. All over.
So the thing about me is this. When I first came to Houston, my older brother was staying off Westheimer in between Woodcrest and off a street called Meadow Glen Lane.
I know Meadow Glen.
Shit, fly them motherfuckers. Wine Garden.
Yeah.
Shout out. Wine Garden. Be at Wine Garden. And then we moved. And we moved just across I think. So now we on the north side. So I didn't have a problem with north and south. As you get a little older, you understand there's a divide. This side of I-10, that north. This side of I-10, that side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't, because I went to school north, but I was living south. I went to Lee for a minute.
Right.
Then I started out in Memorial.
Okay. Yeah.
There was only 8 black people at Memorial. I was like, Mom, I used to some nigga shit. My mom was at the Chamber of Commerce. Like, it was right across the street. And I'm like, it was me. Shout out to Sean Graham. Him and Rapper D still. And this
Rapper D.
Sean was from Buffalo. It was me, Sean Graham, and Elvin Hayes Jr.
Okay.
It was the only black guys. And it was 5 black chicks. And we fighting for the mother. It was cold. It was a couple cold. It was rad. But like, coming up off state championship, Reed Gettys and all, if you look at the building on Derry Ashford, the district building, and say Don Coleman, like Coleman was my coach.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Coach Don. Like, that was my first coach. Then we transferred to Spring Branch. I went to schools, man. That was a Memorial, Lee, So now we in the Southwest, but I'm going to school in the North. So I had friends on both sides of town. I was bouncing back and forth. So I'm like, with my Southwest homies, because this is where I live, yo, I'm at Barbara Jordan now. Hey, man, they having a party at da-da-da-da.
Right.
Look, them niggas looking like, hey, man, that's that North, man. I'm like, huh? It's cool, though. I know all this. It's ice. It's you. Man, I know cats. And be like, all right, let's, so all of them looking on, they dividing.
Right.
I'm like, we connecting. So I was a North Side, South, because I didn't come from that.
Right.
In Pittsburgh, I'm Hill, Homewood, East Liv, Garfield. I'm all that. Like, so in Houston, there was a divide. The South Side, because the South Side had Astro World, it had the Dome, it had the club, all the popping stuff was on the South.
The clubs,
character. And a lot of people moved to the South. The North Side was like, you can get it in blood. North Side had a jacker. Hey man, they had that work, and I'm gonna leave that alone. But the North Side was like real H-Town. Hold on. The South Side, where all the new people's at, like the A-Leaves, the over our Briar Forest, and that's where all the out of towners came. But now, when you get to South Park, now that's them. That's them real H-Town. Right. So people don't know Houston is so big.
Right.
So it's like 4 parts of the South Side. That you know what I mean? You got SWAT. You had that Hiram Clark, Mo City, South Park, 3rd Ward, North, and we used to go to them parks. I don't know if you remember. We used to go to Tom Bass. And then on the North Side, we hit that Deuce.
Oh, be a McGregor now.
And McGregor. It'd be McGregor, Tom Bass, or something.
Right.
The LA rapper.
Yeah, that trip me I do from LA by you got
McGregor Park.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at Houston, all them sides, and then so one Sunday we be at McGregor or we be at Tom Bass. Next Sunday we on the North, we at Deuce, and we riding cars. The slab culture began. It was trucks, it was center lines.
That's right. Yeah.
Center line. You get that hairline crack. The big systems came. They had to crank it up high. I done watch cats like Baptiste and shatter the back window out. All of that was going on down here already. Yeah. We was doing it, man.
Yeah, I learned, man. I grew up in South Park, and when I started moving around, especially meeting you and Ice, I learned, bro, man, it's business though, all over Houston. See, when I got out of there and started doing business, that's when the money started growing. Cause man, from A-Leaf, like you saying, the South Park, Sunnyside, Acres Home, Carverdale, Spring Branch, you know what I'm saying? All over, it was money all over Houston, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. And the funny part about it is, you can go to another side and see girls like, okay, but you go on this side. Man, girls everywhere, bro. Different styles, flavors.
It ain't changed. It ain't changed. Hey, man. Boy, ain't boy.
Look, you had 15, right? Packed.
Yeah.
But then you go across the street, the face is packed. I'm like that.
Then you go down the block, and then you go in. The whole Alameda.
The whole Alameda is just going down. Man.
Shout out Steve Rogers. Shout out all them guys that got them spots over there. But yeah, man. H-Town, man, back in the day, it was, what was the name of that spot? It was just so many.
We had game room, man.
They had teen club. Like, what he just said about money, I can't recall Houston ever just not having it was available to all ages. All you had to do was have your hustle on and be respectful.
Right. Oh, yeah, must.
You got to be, Houston's a city about respect, man. Right. It's like, if you come here, man, they'll clear a lane for you. Right. But the minute you get to being disrespectful, it's like, you might be in an all-black suit with your arms folded somewhere, man, on the other side of the grass. But nah, Houston will allow you to go get it. Like, Houston is wide open. And you know what? As a matter of fact, we closed, though. For all you people that's not in Houston, we just come down and visit. We don't need y'all moving in. Y'all making the real estate go up and everything else right now. Traffic, y'all stay. Come stimulate the economy for the weekend.
Go back home.
Houston closed right now. We don't need y'all down. Houston's a great opportunistic place.
Yeah, because and another thing is, this is Texas as well, right? So, rodeo be packed.
Everything.
everything.
Everything
Cowboy boo hats. It's just having fun and enjoying life, right? But be respectful at all times.
Yeah, because you don't know who. Yeah. So, but back to the hip hop, man. Houston. You sell records in Houston,
right? You go platinum just right here in Houston.
We got cats like Zero. That's not a household name everywhere.
Yeah.
But the road, I mean, you got a lot of underground cats that's getting it. Like the SUC was getting it,
bro.
Swisher House was eating it. Like I used to watch Michael Watts. Leave the city with 2,000 CDs burnt. Like Swisher House, Swisher Blast. Shout out to Paul Walk, Magno,
right?
Chameleon, all them guys. I used to watch Mike Watts leave the city with 2,000 in the trunk and come back with 20,000 cash, like nothing on a regular. Like, hey man, so it's money down here, man.
Go get it.
Man. Yeah, there's a lot of go-getters out here, man. A lot of people in Houston set up a lot of things too. I teach a music business class at TSU right now, right?
Man, congrats, man.
Appreciate my boy. Shout out to Jordan Williams and all them. But if you look at TSU, they got an ERM program, that's Entertainment Recording and Management. Then you have an RTF program, right? When you look at the guys that went to college at TSU, you got John Tucker, Dr. Teeth. If you've ever watched BET, The Basement and all that, that's his.
Right.
He created that.
Right.
My boy Keelan Farouk now, he owns Exotic Pop.
Come on.
If you look at Keelan, remember that show Hits from the Street?
Right.
He produced that show. Keelan the H-Town Kid. He produced that. And then MTV stole it and it became Punk'd. You want to really just talk about it? If you look at my boy Cliff Mack, remember Cedar's World?
Right.
That was his show. All these dudes is, one way or the other, H-Town affiliated. Cliff from Austin, but he went to U of A, TSU. All these guys, TSU, and when you say Rap City, when you say Cedar's World, when you looking at worldwide stuff, right. This would put the mark on it. A lot of people might not know that one. John Tucker's alias was Dr. Teeth.
Come on.
Bro. He produced a lot of videos too. Cliff Mack produced a lot of videos under the Blue Gorilla moniker. Man, a lot of stuff came out of Houston. Houston doesn't get the credit for.
Yeah, I noticed that.
They don't. I watch documentary after documentary. I watch these guys with these little bullshit hip hop shows go around the country and and Houston kind of get overlooked. Like, it's like, come on, man. I watch it. But we gonna do something about that. I got one coming. You got one coming.
There you go.
I got one coming though. And it's gonna detail all of this stuff. Right. Again, how Russell and Rick did a lot through Steve Fournier.
Right.
There's a lot that goes on, man. Yeah. But Houston sold the most records too. Right. If you was going platinum in the 80s, early 90s and all that, trust and believe, like, Houston was a city with money. Like, if you took the top 20 cities in America and compared the poorest people, H-Town gonna be the richest of the poor. Right. And it don't look poor when you go to other cities.
Right.
We driving. They driving. Bro. H-Town, and there ain't too many projects. You got CUNY Homes, you had Coke Apartments, which ain't no real big. You had Kelly Court, Roy, but them ain't no real in numbers. Everybody in Houston got cribs, apartments, and houses, and the brokest people driving a Honda Accord, a Toyota. They driving.
Sorry, I was in Philly about 2 years ago, and I'm like, God damn. I was in
San Francisco about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, God, we downtown. Everywhere you look, as far as the eye can see. Homeless, and it's wild because it's like, you avoid grass so you don't step in no dog shit. Right. Like, it's human and dog crap on the sidewalks and stuff. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Like, bro.
And this is downtown San Francisco, man. Like,
bro, when I be traveling, bro, I'm good for 3-4 days. It's like, man, get me back to H-Town. I'm ready to come back to the house, man.
Hey, man, I'm gonna say this, man. I love Pittsburgh. There's no place like home.
I'm still a fan. Come on,
I see the cut, but I would never live there again. I can't live where it snows. No, I got used to this weather. I got used to Cali weather. Man, listen, I can't do it. I can't. Yo, cut me. You know, get black and yellow glove.
Right.
But yeah, living there, man.
But let me ask you this though. So how did you meet all these celebrities? Like, look, I remember going to Prairie View. You was like, man, we kicking you like, man, let's ride the PV Martin Lawrence doing the comedy special. Next thing you know, we talking to Martin Lawrence, bro.
Me and Martin, I had a partner named Nat, and his uncle worked out in Hollywood. You know, we was doing the label stuff. And there was a guy named Jeffrey Quatnitz. We had the same lawyer. But Martin, when I lived in L.A., there used to be a comedy store we go to every Monday night. It was affectionately known as N-word night. I'm trying to be better.
Right.
And it was 2 drink minimum. So I got to see in the early 90s some of the best comedians come up with some of their best work. I used to see Eddie Griffin there every Monday night, and we would hang. Like, I used to see Martin and Chalant, A.J. Johnson, Lil Ant, rest in peace. You know, me, King T, we all used to live together with alcoholics.
Yeah, right, King T.
No.
King T is DJ now.
King T, how we met. He's from Compton.
Okay.
Kids Jam.
Okay,
so Kids Jam. King T's mom, and he said it in the documentary that I got coming, so I don't think he'll mind. His mom was involved with a guy, and they moved to Houston. King T was a wild cat, though, so King T would get in some trouble. And he was known as Terry T back in the day.
Right.
When he got back to LA, DJ Pooh gave him the name King T. But it was Terry T, and he was a hip hop cat, man. This was hip hop, man. Hip hop brought everybody together.
Everybody, right.
T was cold on the turntables, bro. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you this: the night we had Eric B and Rakim here, well, this wasn't that night.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this: the Rhinestone Wrangler used to have rap battles. Willie D used to be in a Romeo Poet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you who else used to be in. There was a group called the College Boys, but like Romany Malico, he's an actor. He was the black dude in, 40-Year-Old Virgin or whatever. He's been in the Why I Should Get Married. I'm Steve Harvey moving
got
on.
a good memory for
Listen, Rom, that's what he was known. He used to have a beatbox kid named Squeaky. Romany Malico came to Houston and went to high school too, and. They used to be in the battles at the Rhinestone. Well, when King T moved to Houston, Terry T, he was cold on the turntables, bro. Yeah. He had that LA influence. He had the quick. Him and B2,
right.
They decided instead of a rap battle this night, we're gonna have a DJ battle. Him and Born Twice, B2 Omega at the time, they going at it in the Rhinestone. Steve Fournier calling it. Next thing you know, with 1200, you unscrew the cartridge. You could put it back in upside down. Terry T done this. He turned the cartridge upside down, and you had a little lever where you could raise the needle. He put the needle and thread, the spool. He put that on the little part where the record would go. Put that there. He put a straw, like a drinking straw, in the middle of that. Put the record on top of that. So now there's this much space between the record and the turntable. But he had the needle screwed in upside down. So he drops the record. Now it's playing in reverse. I was like, that was some monumental shit.
Right.
And if you ask B2, who was a great DJ, if you ask him and you ask King T to this day who won that battle, they're both going to say they won.
Right.
I don't know who won, but I know when T put that straw on a spool and he slid the record down, turned the needle upside down, and dropped that record, and then he was scratching on the other side. It was like, a twice. I don't know, man. I'm just leaving it at that. That's what shuts it down. But yeah, King T was in Houston. He would get caught. He would be in he would get in some trouble. They have him in the boys' home, right?
Right.
Tell you how live this cat was. He had to be 16, 15, whatever. He'd be young teens. He would escape. He would escape and go to Kids Jam and be on there, Terry T, and they knew where to find him after the show. But he was in there.
Though.
He was in there with a guy named Oscar Series, and they used to write rhymes together. Okay. You know what Oscar Series is? Raheem the Vigilante. They would write rhymes, and Raheem ended up being. So it's just wild how
man Raheem had lyrics, bro.
Right,
lyricist. Man.
Yes, he was.
What was lyrics?
Right, yes, bro. He was, and they dance floor. Right. They did that video over at TSU.
But people don't understand too though. But That boy got some skills too on that mic, though, bro.
Yeah,
we did the show at the Sam Houston, man. We were me, you, Johnny E.
Oh man,
Luscious Ice. Well, I think 2 Live Crew was there too, right?
Because that was their makeup show.
Boys.
They got sued, so that was their makeup show. They had to do that show for free. They had to do Limelight, a whole bunch of after parties. So on top of the 300. All that other money was happening, so we ate good that week.
Bro, I was on stage with y'all, man. That was one of the highlights of my life, bro. I had fun, man.
Scarface, man, sent me a picture of me from that show. He's like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was telling him, I didn't get to finish the whole story, man. You know, shout out to Face. But I told him, man, send me the whole picture. He ain't sent me the whole picture. So whoever I was in the picture with, I'm like,
send it. Because
he asked,
I know I'm on that with you, bro.
Look, he asked me about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. But I don't know why he won't send me the whole pic.
Come on,
but whatever, whatever.
I got some memory from back in that day.
Yeah, man, that was, and we stayed at the DoubleTree.
Right? Yeah, oh man, we
stopped.
Talking about partying, bro.
Oh, we was the kings of that in H-Town.
What?
They wasn't doing it like us, man.
Man, we'll be chilling and be like, man, let's go to Strawberries, man. Next thing you know, we in Louisiana.
Shout out to Bobby K.A. Take that hat off.
But it was cool, though. It was cool.
Oh,
He let us in free, bro.
Oh, yeah. The original Strawberries.
So much, bro. The original Strawberries, man.
So if you know anything about Houston, Luscious Ice always was getting money. He had a job at this gas station on the corner of Dairy Ashford and Memorial. There was an Exxon.
Bro. Love me, everybody. We be up in there.
But tell him how it went. Ice worked the graveyard. He worked from like 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning. You know what we used to do? He used to lock the gas station up, put back in 5 minutes. We would drive to Louisiana to Strawberries and back before 6. He opened and man, he would just leave and we'd be at Strawberries and all kind of wild. Strawberries legendary club. Legendary. It's in.
Talk about ladies, bro, women at Strawberries.
It used to be a big barn or something, man. Shout out to Troy D. Shout out to Bobby K.A. We got around, man, and we was young. We got around. We was promoting concerts.
High school, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We promoting concerts in high school. We getting money, man. H-Town will make you make some money.
It will make you make some money, bro. That's a fact.
H-Town will make you make some money.
It'll make you make some money. I mean, you gonna grind at H-Town, bro.
And it's easy.
Then you gonna meet connects, bro, and it's like, it was wild, though, bro. I can say that, I can say this. H-Town had the cheapest price. You can go to different cities and make a killing, bro. That's back when you was younger, though, when I was young.
Hey, man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's wild,
man.
Bro.
Well, it got one of the biggest ports in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, so H-Town.
I love the city, bro. You know what I mean? But because, too, you can be you. You can do it, whatever you, it's a market.
For everything down here.
It's a market, buddy.
It's a market for everything.
Yeah, so folks, ain't no need to be complaining, man.
You gotta love the H. You know what I mean? Again, in this hip hop thing, man, it was huge, bro. You could sell records in Houston and still be relatively unknown to the world.
Right.
You could shout out to one of the coldest rappers I ever heard in my life.
Okay.
But his name is K Reno.
K. Come on, K.
Let me tell you about K Reno, man. K Reno doing shows in Australia. K Reno, listen, man. K Reno eating out here in the world, like of hip, like let's just say outside of Texas, Louisiana. New York don't know K Reno, and I put K Reno up against some of their best.
Yeah.
I put K Reno up against some of them. Hey, listen, man.
Bro.
Rick Royal, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's so. Look, this is how I got into music, man. Cause I was like, man, I put out an album in 1999, right? And check this out. I didn't know this, bro, but check this out. So I went to Southwest Wholesale.
Robert Gilliman. Ghetto Cyrus.
Right. So my boy Chris, who had the song "Got Dopey in My Family."
Oh yeah.
He told me, he was like, man, my shit is in Germany. Like, how you shit? He would tell me something. I didn't know the dude. He told me somebody named Eddie Corral. I didn't know Eddie Corral.
Eddie, I'm going to cuss. Eddie, motherfucking gangster Eddie Corral. Hey, man.
Look, come to find out, all of a sudden, I think
Button down gangster.
What's my not Facebook, the one that started the music. MySpace. People from Germany hit me on MySpace. I'm like, how the fuck? Man, they had my album in German. I wonder how the hell it get way down there. I didn't know nothing about it. And Al came back to Eddie Corral.
Eddie fucking Corral.
Yeah.
I'm still investigating some stuff on my records. I looked me up and I had put out an album at Ramageddon, me and my boy Nat Lansky. I put that out. I looked it up on Amazon. I'm like, all these stars and I'm popping overseas.
Yeah, popping overseas.
I feel like Rodriguez. You remember Sugar Man? You don't even know you popping. Yeah, but shout out again, K Reno, man.
Yeah.
Hey, again, I put K Reno up against a lot of people.
Right, yeah.
I put him up against some of your favorite rappers, and your favorite rapper might take an L that day.
Yeah, bro. K Reno just go off with no music, bro. We in the park, K just doing it. I'm like, wow, this boy got it, man.
Him and the little black book. Shout out to K Reno. Yeah. Again, Houston, the marketplace wasn't here. We had to create the market. Lil J, shout out to him for creating the marketplace, and then it opened up. I mean, and now H-Town on top of the world. You can't front on Megan. You can't front on Travis Scott. You know what I'm saying? Let alone what the Ghetto Boys did, what Kiki and them did.
Right.
What Hawk, Mo, you screwed up with what Watts did. You can't front on none of that. You can't front on none of that.
And look, the funny part too was hearing people that would come from out of town to Houston trying to pick up on the slang we had down here, right? You know, they like, what they coming down, what they talking about,
I'm going to say this. Houston was the first place to ever use the term player hater. Houston was the first doing this. Raising that man. Houston was, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to E40. He the king of that shit, but H-Town, player hating. Yeah, that was H-Town first, man. But, yeah, man, Houston's contributed in so many ways, man. Again, that independent grind. You gotta shout out like Short. Okay, we're gonna start with Short. But you gotta shout out Jay. Jay was there doing it. Like you gotta shout out Tone Draper.
Yeah.
You know, Tone walk Cash Money in. From what I understand.
Okay.
Dino DeValier. Shout out to them guys. Yeah, man, Houston got a lot of untold history. We just tapped into a little bit of it.
Right.
But yeah, we gonna tell you. I'm working on a documentary. It's called The H, Houston's Hip Hop History. And we're gonna clear up a whole lot of stuff and do a lot of things. I know you got yours.
Yeah. This is the pre-show, you know what I'm saying? This is the pre-show to the bigger show, you know what I'm saying? Just getting y'all ears ready and prepared for what's getting ready to come, right? Because it's time and I really wanted Brother Rashad on the show because he was there from the onslaught, from the beginning. Day one, you know what I'm saying? Putting it down and I was glad. I was blessed, bro, to be on the road because they were a little older than me, but they took me along. And the good thing I can say is, no matter where we went out of town, I never come back home. Right? Oh, and wait. And this is another dude. This is another reason too, right? I heard this dude speaking Arabic to a guy in the store. Cause you know you walk in and you know sometimes they give you a look or whatever, bro. He running it down and dude with respect, didn't charge him no taxes. I'm like, man, wait a minute. First time I heard it, right? This was Islam back in the day, you know what I mean? Back in the 80s. I was like, before it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but before it just got popular, you know, because a lot of East Coast rappers was 5%ers or
5%, yeah,
fake and whatnot. So
we was into that. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all my peoples out there. Yeah, but we took God with us everywhere. That's what you said. We always came home. One thing about me, I never drank, never smoked, never did nothing. I'm pineapple juice, cranberry juice. Every bartender in the city know me. They're gonna mix pineapple and ginger beer. So I never drank, and you know, I guess that's a flex because when you're 57 and you still look like this versus Yeah. Yeah, you know, so,
yeah.
but, and I ain't telling nobody what to do. I'm just saying the one thing we did, and I learned this when I was 12, and I'd have been in the streets, we didn't hustle, we didn't done all kind of stuff, but an older cat told me a long time ago, man, youngin', whatever you do, man, just take God with you. So I always kind of had an angel on my shoulder. I lost friends to the system, I lost friends to bullets, but I always had an insight and a foresight, you know, some sort of clarity with me, and I ain't bragging on things that may have done negative, but I'm thankful that God gave me that, and I'm able to share with younger people now, you know, so it is what it is. But for all y'all out there, when you go out at night, thank God for making it home. That's one of the most underrated blessings, man.
Ooh, bro.
And a lot of people don't make it home, man, so thank God. When you walk in your door, just say, thank you, God. You know what I mean?
You know, bro, look, I appreciate you being on the show.
Cold, man. It's cold, man. It's cold, man. Hey, man. Hey, boy. Hey, lady. Yo, what was that? High five?
Bro,
hey, man.
We out of town. Hey, man. Y'all wouldn't believe the stuff.
Hey, man, we got some story. That was just
hip hop. Wild or not, man.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go there, but, man, I'm gonna just say this, man. Houston has deep roots in the hip hop culture, man, and we definitely need to tell it like it should be told, because a lot of people, man, they sit up and just forget about it. And nowadays, everybody wants to talk. They forgot about the H.
Right.
What's happening? How you forget about the H?
You can't forget about the H.
You can't forget. You cannot forget about H-Town, man. Y'all, we gonna put it in y'all face, though.
Right, definitely, bro.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. This is the guy that's definitely the one to do it, right? And look, it turned into more of a reunion, man, and us collabing and just let the spirit do what it do, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed it, man. Hey, so anybody want to check him out? You want to go into social media?
Right now I'm on the road with another H-Town legend. Two H-Town legends. There's a guy named Marcus D. Wiley. Yeah. And there's a guy named My Guy. And I want to thank him in an open forum for bringing me on the road with him. His name is Ali Sadiq. These are two hottest comedians in the game, man, right now. Out the mud. Yeah. This out the mud, this H-Town, man.
Yeah. Ali used to come on 90.1 with me when I had my show Street Talk, man.
So yeah, Ali
Good people, bro.
is according to the New York Times, and a lot of people have seen it, he's the #1 storytelling comedian on the planet right now. The brother dropped specials in 2024.
Wow, bro.
Domino Effect.
Yeah.
1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4.
Low key.
It's the #1 special in the country last year. And he's doing great things, man. And he got Marcus Wiley out there now. Yeah, we doing what we do, man. I want to tell Ali I appreciate him for taking me, because he reached back. Like, Ali came up.
People, man.
Hold on, Ali was in the hood when we was young, over Briar Forest and all that. Yeah, so we was all around. Them guys he talks about, the Charleses and the Ronells, they was our crew. Them was my guys, man. We went away to college, and he went away to college too. But check out Ali Sadiq, check out Marcus D. Wiley. I'm on the road with them. My socials, you can reach me at The Real DJ Big Ra.
Come on.
BIGRA. THEREAL DJ BIGRA. The Real D. You know, I don't post a lot on the gram. I don't have time, but I'm gonna start posting a lot more. But
it's the new
I'm an old school cat, man. I don't put my business out there like that. Whole lot of youngsters getting committing crimes with their phone.
Look, we have something to say. We gonna come to your house, talk to you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
How'd I get caught? Nigga, you videotaped your whole criminal activity, dumbass.
But look, I ain't got an RIP to Sammy, man. We talking about A-Leaf, man. Sammy AG, bro. Damn.
Oh wow, damn.
Like Sammy, man.
Sammy Lust.
Yeah, you know
Sammy and Tatum.
Yeah, Tatum, his big brother, little smack.
They was in I knew them before they moved. Hey, Sammy, come on, man. Sammy used to wear suits with no shirt. No, Sammy Tatum, Rhonda was the sister. They was with us. Yeah, them was when I got, he said, somebody, you ain't talking about that. Man. Yeah, he got shot at that down. Home road.
Yeah.
So I knew Sammy when Sammy was in elementary. Tatum, his brother, Arthur Blanks. Tatum
made the news one time, I think.
Listen, them. I knew them before. They was in A-Leaf. We was over our, man, listen, man, we bred legends over there, man.
Yeah, bro, for real.
But like I said, shout out to Ali, Marcus, Ali Salam, Kefra, all these guys, man, doing good things. Look out for that name, Kefra Abdul Salam, too. He coming up in the boxing world, man. He been #1 a few times.
Come on. Hey.
North Shore.
Come on. H time. Verbal Pick Radio, man. Appreciate you. We out.
Peace.